Dang, July. Trying to be just like last month. Good morning, YouTube. Tire Metalhead Weatherman here. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Man, July is really trying to be on demon time right now, honestly. So we have a high risk for excessive rainfall or flash flooding pretty much across the Adirondack Mountains into Vermont. And then the moderate risk even stretches all the way into Maine. We have New Hampshire in there as well. We have Massachusetts and pretty much a good chunk of the Adirondacks as well. We could see some significant rainfall, even up to 10 inches in some of these regions. Rain is actually falling over there right now, and then yesterday, we can go back here towards 12Z. We had a major moderate risk right here for flooding. This even included areas around Philly, and a lot of significant flooding did occur with this, unfortunately. This ended up getting pushed a little bit further up north, so New York City's going through it right now, and then other areas as well, such as Albany, are involved too. So this is until about probably 7 o'clock. So by the time you see this video, this will no longer be valid, or at least this moderate risk that we're looking at currently. But yeah, this high risk is a big deal right here. You rarely see this. The amount of people that are impacted by flood, are potentially impacted by major flooding today, is actually a little bit over 4 million people and covers over 40,000 square miles. Pretty crazy stuff going on there. Here's a look at some of the cumulative rainfall totals. The newest update has not come in. It'll probably be after this video is up, but some pretty significant numbers, especially over towards Philly. Areas around Philly, Allentown, and areas in between were hit really hard yesterday. So definitely, if you can support them, definitely would urge you to do so here. Some of these areas over here saw pockets of up to at least 5 inches plus of rainfall. Like I said, the new update hasn't come in. I'll probably expect to see higher totals with this, because this probably is including the day before, the rainfall from the day before yesterday, actually. And that being said, we also have severe weather to talk about too. We have a slight risk in two areas. We have this slight risk set up over Wisconsin, Minnesota. This includes the Twin Cities. It also includes Green Bay and La Crosse. Stretches all the way down through Iowa into Nebraska over here, central Nebraska in particular. I'm a little bit interested in. And then we can also check out McCook, Nebraska, and Colby for the threat of severe here, or an increased threat. Then over towards the panhandle of Texas over here, towards Amarillo and Lubbock, we also have an additional severe area. Unfortunately, also with the flood threat over here to the south of that, we also have a marginal risk for severe weather. Damaging winds and hail are the main threats here, but there is a small area over towards the Twin Cities, towards Green Bay and La Crosse, where there is a 2% tornado threat. Haven't seen anything that has led me to believe that this will increase by any stretch. If anything, we could see it downtrend completely to a no tour risk. But then again, with what we've seen this year, there's been plenty of no tour risk days and plenty of tornadoes on those days still. Nonetheless, taking a look at the models here, here's where our setup towards the Twin Cities comes into play here. Do think this storms will fire a little earlier there, but nonetheless, as far as the low-level kinematics are concerned, I don't think they're going to be impressive enough to really cause too much of anything. Moderately weak storm relative velocity over here at 102 meters squared per second squared, but just looking at the photograph here, we're struggling to get up to 10 knots at the low levels. You really want to be at about 20 knots at minimum in regards to a tornado threat. Not to say that it wouldn't happen, but the likelihood's a lot lower. Do have a fair amount of decape here. We're over 800 joules. In fact, we're at 951. Instability is a little bit limited up here, so that's one question that I had about this area. Lapse rates are moderately decent, so hail wouldn't be out the question for sure. Damaging winds, I think, will definitely be the top threat over towards this region today. So as we continue to go forward, maybe towards southwestern parts of Wisconsin, we could see a threat for severe here. This sounding's relatively docile here. Kinematics do look a tiny bit better, but the only problem is there is a lot of convective inhibition here. So a cap could be coming into play here, and I would only expect that to intensify as we go later into the evening. So, like I said, storm coverage itself also seems like it's going to be pretty limited at this point. So I wouldn't expect too much out of this here. We'll go ahead and switch over to the HRRR. Look at the different levels of the atmosphere. It's pretty much going to be a similar deal across the board here. I may try to hone in a little bit over here towards central Nebraska, because that was another point of interest too. But from what I can see here, it's pretty much a similar deal. Cap starts to redevelop late tonight. If the storm could find a way to break through, then maybe we could see something significant. But here is a look at what we could have beforehand. Like I said, hail threat seems like it's most likely going to be the greatest threat, with that amount of decape at 1474 joules per kilogram. Damaging winds seem pretty likely, but again, if we look at kinematics at the low levels itself, tornado threat seems rather unlikely at this point. Of course, weather loves to change, so really looking at the lunchtime models is going to give us a better idea more so than anything else. Unfortunately, I have to work today, even though it's raining in the background. But anyway, look at the low levels just to verify that, and like I said, pretty much not much of anything to work with here. Yeah, so as far as the tornado threat's concerned, I think if anything, we may see it go to a no tor risk. 2% seems the most reasonable for right now. Could even see a small 2% area pop back up over here towards Nebraska at best, but I wouldn't expect a whole lot out of it. Here's the moisture returns, by the way. And we do get some decent ones, especially towards mid-afternoon, but just as quickly as they start to ramp up, especially towards Wisconsin and Twin Cities here, it starts to kind of fall off a little bit. Actually, a little bit of a dry slot right here that begins to develop too. Then over towards Kansas here, we do have a pretty good moisture return, but like I said, other parameters just don't really seem to be in place. Not to mention, convective inhibition starts to increase, cap trying to come back in. Definitely going to lead to a limiting factor as far as severe is concerned. If it does go severe, though, damaging winds again definitely seem like the dominant threat here. Could even see some decent sized hail. And that's pretty much all we got as far as those parameters are concerned. So let's go ahead and take a look at all the reflectivity here. We're going to look from the southern plains all the way up to the Great Lakes, and then actually take a look at the flood threat once more and get a look at the quantitative totals for rainfall as well up to the northeast. So this is mid-afternoon, I would say. Starting to see a few storms fire. This feature also has a composite reflectivity, so if you see a little black streak like what you see right here, that storm is forming an updraft, has a little bit higher potential to go severe, but even so, the storms are going to be few and far in between, and don't seem like they're going to be very long lasting here. Towards the evening, we could see a little bit of increased coverage, but for the most part, I wouldn't be too concerned about it. As for this region, it's pretty much a similar deal. Maybe a couple storms across this entire region really will go severe. Main threat I'm seeing right now, again, damaging winds, hail, probably some heavy rainfall. Can't rule out a tornado again, but likelihood definitely seems pretty low at this point. Now over towards this region over here, we're taking a look at the potential for rainfall over here starting out, and we see up to 10 inches in some places right here. This is right around the Adirondack, especially towards the eastern portion, and then even towards a little bit further to the south, we're still seeing potential for up to 5 inches plus maybe. And it's a pretty widespread area of excessive rainfall over here. We're just looking in the 18-hour range, not even getting to see a full 24-hour plus run on this. So rainfall totals could actually be higher than what we're seeing here right now. We go ahead and take a look at reflectivity here. This is what the radar is most likely going to look like throughout the course of the day. We're already getting showers and storms over there, and they actually increase in coverage and intensity as time goes on. And once that begins to happen, the threat for flooding really starts to ramp up here, unfortunately. And this isn't going to really clear out and probably till the next day. So with that being said here, let's make sure that we are staying weather aware and avoiding flooded roadways. The saying is turn around, don't drown. Let's try and practice that here today. Anyone that could be watching over towards the northeast. That being said though, it's the end of this video. Got to run to work. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Make sure you're hitting that like button, smashing that subscribe button. Also making sure you get that bell on for notification, to be notified of every video that I make. Then also share the video to anyone that's in one of these areas of interest. Try to get all the info out that we can to as many people as we can, especially those that need it. But I'll see you guys a little bit later this afternoon, most likely. If so, I'll catch you later. It's been Ty, Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys have a nice day, and I hope you stay safe. Until then, take care.